We're so glad you're here with us this morning, and we'd like you to join us on our first sing-along song called More Than Enough. So please stand on up, join our song leaders on the Daniel Lima tune, More Than Enough.
There is more than enough in the universe that you created. There is more than enough on a planet of sacred design. There is more than enough for humanity made in your image.
Center for Spiritual Living, Capistrano Valley. I'm Heather Clark. I'm the senior minister here, and it is my joy to welcome you this morning. You're in for a real treat. We are a trans-denominational center, and so what that means is we honor all paths, knowing that every single path is the right one for the person on it. And so what we begin with is the activity of lighting the flames of faith and to honor all those world religions. We perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples and all faiths, all sentient beings, come from the one great universal presence, which we call spirit. Fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here today. We light the candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of compliance with the will of God as the highest calling. We light the candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the candle for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. And as practitioner Anita Baroldi lights the last candle, let it represent the path that brought you here this morning. I guess that 10 pounds did show up. Let's pray. Joy is always the infallible evidence of the presence of God. So here's what I know is true. I know that there's only one life. That life is the life of God. That life is whole, complete, and perfect. That life that is God's life is all-knowing. It is that thing itself which is everywhere present. It is the thing itself that is creating out of itself, bringing forth everything, bringing forth newness, bringing forth from its own creativity new forms, new experiences, new connections. So what I know this morning is that that presence, that power, is right where each one of us is, in, through, around, and as. It is good and it is for us. So I make this bold declaration, and I make it with ease, that this morning's service contains something of great value, maybe many things of great value, something of great value to each and every person who is here or who is watching the live stream. That there is something wonderful occurring by means of the creativity, the message, the prayers, the music, the ceremonies, the presence. Something wonderful. So I know and declare that this is already so. because that same thing that brought us together is glorifying itself by means of each one, by means of our life force, our energy, our connections. So I declare that courageous and confident connections with prosperity and abundance are easy to see, are easy to express, are easy to receive. I declare that this is already so. It's the nature of life. And so with my heart filled with gratitude for this wondrous, wondrous thing is right where I am, right where each one is, in this very room, lighting us so fully, with my heart just filled with gratitude and thanksgiving, I simply place this word in the action of God's law. It's complete, and please help me anchor it by saying with me,
And so
it is. And so now Marlene Cutler is going to come forth, read our Declaration of Principles and our affirmation.
Good morning. Good morning. So please join me in reading the Declaration of Principles. I believe in God, the one creative intelligence, operating through the universe and operating throughout my entire being, now and always. I believe this perfect spirit operates upon the law of mind and creates my experience exactly according to my belief. I believe this perfect creative intelligence can be used by me and by every other person to produce health, abundance, and love in mind, body, and total life experience. I use it now, and I rejoice in it, and so it is. Now, please join me in reading the affirmation. Today, I awaken to a greater consciousness of prosperity than ever before. My life is a beautiful reflection of all God's gifts. I freely give and freely receive, and so it is.
Thank you, Marlene. And please welcome Allendale.
We want to dedicate this song to Dr. Heather. It's called Have It All. May you have auspiciousness and causes of success. May you have the confidence to always do your best. May you take no effort in your being cheeriness. Never much you can, nothing more, nothing less.
May you know the meaning of the word happiness. May you always lead from the beating in your chest. May you be treated like an esteemed guest. May you get to rest, may you catch your breath.
And may the best of your todays be the worst of your tomorrows. Whoa! And may the road less paved be the road that you follow. Whoa! Well, here's to the heart that you're gonna break. Here's to the lives that you're gonna change. Here's to the infinite possible ways to love you. I want you to have it. Here's to the good times we're gonna have. You don't need money, you gotta bring past. Here's to the fact that I'll be sad without you. I want you to have it all. Oh, I want you to have it all. I want you to have it all. I want you to have it all. May you be a destiny, it's a slap where you slip. May you keep the chaos and the clutter off your desk. May you have a questionable health and less stress. Having no possessions, so immeasurable wealth.
May you get a gold star on your next test. May your educated guesses always be correct. And may you win prizes shining like diamonds. May you really own it each moment to the next.
May the best of your days be the worst of your tomorrow. Whoa! And may the road less paved be the road that you follow. Whoa! Well,
Wonderful these two are. I heard that song on the radio, immediately Shazammed it to find out who it was. It was Jason Mraz. They love Jason Mraz. I came immediately to the center and said, could you please learn this new song? I don't know how you could sit for when they get into that. It's like, this is dance. This is time to dance and be happy. Oh, thank you so much. It's such an honor, knowing how busy you are, for you to also learn a new song. One of the best parts of our right. One of the best parts of our commitment weeks, Courageous and Confident Connections, is talking to one of you. And today is no exception. So I'd like to invite to the platform Mr. Lee Van Slyke. Welcome, Lee. So let's talk about how long you've been coming to this center.
Well, Dina and I have been coming to the center for about 25 years. And before that, we were involved with the Ventura Church of Religious Science, where we were married.
Aha, so it's a long history. So when you were elected to the Board of Trustees, you jumped right in to take on an executive position as secretary. So how has being on the board enriched your life?
Oh, well, being on the board is fascinating because it's a small group of some of the most capable ministers and practitioners and thought leaders in the church. And what they do is so powerful. And the board meetings begin with spiritual work and go very deep, and then we do a lot of business. And it's really, really an amazing experience to be a board member. Really, I just go floating out of there after the board meetings. It's different from any other group I've ever worked with.
And you are a great asset to us. I know that you're a long-time pledger and tither. I know that you're a successful businessman as well. What role does our philosophy have in your life?
Well, the challenge, I think, is to always feel the dignity and respect for every other human being, and I would even extend that to a lot of the animal kingdom, but dignity and respect for the individual, and the church teaches that, then to go beyond that, to find something transcendent, something bigger than me, something bigger than just us in the room, and be a part of that. And the church gives us practical tools for how to get in touch with that transcendent side of what we do. So that's very powerful. And then I'm one of the 10th candle people. I'm on a different path. I'm a humanist, a secular humanist, always have been for 50 years. And the trick is to stay in touch with natural laws and realize that you can't argue with natural laws. You know, the sun's going to rise when the sun's going to rise, kind of thing. But there's also a way through natural law that we can change our health and our experience. And that's really fascinating to me. And one of the things that really intrigues me is the ability of what we teach here to change our health and our life experiences. And I'm just a beginner at how that all works.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, did you have any, let's see, why don't you tell us about your family?
Sure. I have 3 grown children by the first marriage, and Dina and I have 5 grandchildren scattered about in Eugene, Oregon, and Thailand, and the Denver, Colorado area. And they are growing up, like the candles behind me, being trained in Christianity, in Hebrew school, in Buddhism, and the 2 girls are raised by a natural healer. My daughter's a natural healer. So, variety of grandchildren religious experiences.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much, Lee. Really appreciate you. Love you. You and do something completely different for the message this morning. I'm not delivering it. I'm turning it over to our feature presentation this morning. Was written by Kimberly and Wade Wooldridge. So, Wade Wooldridge, please to the platform.
Slide up, please. There we go. From the four corners of the continent, we have flown them to San Clemente, California. People just like you who called our phone number dreaming of instant riches. Will one of them seize the day and have the courage and confidence to change the course of their lives in one short episode? I'm Regis Philbin. Join us as we play Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? So let's meet our first contestant for today, Mr. Harry Happenstance from Moline, Illinois.
Thanks, Regis. This is one of the most exciting things that has happened to me in a long time.
So what do you do for a living, Harry?
I'm a clerk for the Moline Post Office.
Well, that sounds thrilling, Harry. Did you bring anybody down here with you, perhaps to use as a lifeline?
Well, the guy who sat next to me on the plane said he's a trivia guru, so I told him he could come along. His name's Leroy Post, and I work at the post office, so I figured that might be a sign.
And where's Leroy? Leroy? Oh, there's Leroy right over here. Okay. Well, Harry, you're just 14 questions away from $500 all the way up to that $1 million prize. Every question you answer correctly moves you one step closer to that top prize. Remember, at any time, you can always walk away with the money you've earned up to that point. But if you give me an incorrect answer, you walk away with nothing until you get to the threshold of $5,000 and then again at $50,000. You have your 3 lifelines. The audience can help you. 50-50, where I'll take away 2 of the incorrect answers, and your +1 phone a friend with Leroy. Are you ready, Harry?
As ready as I'm ever gonna be.
Okay, here's your first question for $500. What is the heads side of a U.S. coin called? Is it A, sunny side up, B, obverse, C, front, or D, ventral?
Well, the first one is eggs. And the last one, I think, is from heating and air conditioning. So that's not it. Front is too obvious. So I think it's B, obverse.
Is that your final answer?
Yes. Show me the money.
I will if your answer is correct. And the correct answer is B, obverse. Wow, showing you $500. Would you like to stop now or risk that $500 and continue?
Well, heck, if it's this easy, let's keep going.
Okay, Harry, for $1,000. The hobby of collecting coins and paper money is called what? Is it A, currency, B, greed, C, numismatics, or D, mintology?
Oh, I get it. The questions get harder, huh?
Uh-huh.
Well, I'm pretty sure it's one of the last 2, but I'm going to use one of my lifelines and poll the audience.
Okay, studio audience, it's your chance to help Harry out. As I told you before the show, we're having technical difficulties with the automated answering system, so we're going to have to do this by a show of hands. So please raise your hand for one of the following answers. Is it A, currency, B, greed, C, numismatics, or D, mintology?
Well, most of the audience seems to agree with C, so I'm going with C, numismatics.
Is that your final answer?
Yes, sirree, Bob.
It's Regis, but okay. The correct answer is C, numismatics. You are at $1,000. Do you want to stop now or continue on?
Looks like the money gods are smiling on me. Let's keep going, Regis.
Okay, for $2,000. What is the lowest denomination U.S. bill that does not have a president on its face? Is it A, $2, B, $10, C, $50, or D, $100?
Well, I know Benjamin Franklin is on the C note, but I'm not sure who's on the $2 bill. I'm going to use my lifeline and ask Leroy for some help.
Okay, Leroy, come on up. This is your big chance. Thank you. Good to see you. So Harry says you are a self-proclaimed trivia expert.
Yes, I am, Bob. Regis. My points of expertise are 60s and 70s rock bands and botany.
Man, you didn't tell me that part.
Well, I don't think that either of those categories is going to help much on this question, but what can you tell us about people on the money?
Well, I haven't seen a $2 bill in probably 10 years, and on the 50 is Ulysses S. Grant. That's a president. Let me see.
Well, what do you think I should say?
Hey, I just came here for the free tickets. You have to take responsibility for your own questions.
Well, thanks anyway.
Okay, thanks, Leroy, for all of that help.
Well, I know almost all the money has presidents, and I know the $100 bill doesn't. So I'm going with D. Final answer.
And the answer is D, the $10 bill, featuring Alexander Hamilton, the first Secretary of the Treasury for the United States. I'm sorry, Harry, but you're going home with no money, but we will be providing you with a home version of our game.
Well, I guess that's just the way the cookie crumbles.
So, that's Harry for Harry. Before we bring in our next contestant, let's have a short word from one of our sponsors, the Millionaires Book Club. You know, success on this show is based on what you know, but true financial success is based on what you know, coupled with how well you apply it in life. That's why we have collected the finest works on prosperity and made them available to you. As a member of the Millionaires Book Club, each month you will receive one of the books from our collection to guide you on your personal path to prosperity, such as Thomas Stanley and William Danko's book, The Millionaire Next Door, with lessons such as the importance of living within your means. Eric Butterworth's Spiritual Economics, including the importance of living in the flow. George Clayson's The Richest Man in Babylon, with several useful parables, including the importance of paying yourself first. Edwene Gaines' The Four Spiritual Laws of Prosperity, including the importance of giving and tithing. You'll notice that we have crafted a balanced collection that covers both the practical aspects of creating and managing wealth, as well as the spiritual and psychological aspects of living abundantly despite your current bank balance. For more information or to subscribe, call the number or visit the website on your screen and start living more abundantly today. And now back to our game. Let's bring in our next contestant, Miss Debbie Downer from beautiful Lackluster, New Hampshire. Hi, Debbie, how are you doing today?
I've been better, but I'm pretty nervous. I hope I don't do as badly as that last guy.
Well, Debbie, even if it doesn't work out on the show, you can always subscribe to the Millionaires Book Club. But for now, let's hope for the best, shall we?
Yeah, okay, I suppose. I just usually plan on the worst, and then if it goes better than that, I suppose I'm happy.
Okay, well, let's get started. Your first question for $500. The original motto of the United States is E pluribus unum, which translates to what? A, from many one. B, the year the U.S. Constitution was signed. C, I think, therefore I am. Or D, I have found it.
Darn, I heard heard they covered Latin quotes 3 weeks ago at my church, but of course I wasn't there because my car broke down again.
Oh, that's too bad, but the question stands.
Well, it's not D because Eureka is I have found it, and that's the state motto of California. It can't be C because that doesn't even make sense. I think, therefore I am. And the Constitution was signed in 1776, I think, so the unum for one part doesn't make sense. So that just leaves A, from many, one.
Is that your final answer?
Well, process of elimination is the best I can do. Yes, final answer.
And the answer is A, from many, one. You win $500 if you stop now. Do you want to stop or keep going?
Well, I'll keep going, but I've got a bad feeling about this.
Okay, for $1,000. Who is the founder of the New Thought movement called religious science? Is it A, Fenwick Holmes, B, Sherlock Holmes, C, John Holmes, or D, Ernest Holmes?
This show is like my life, it just doesn't make sense. I guess I'll use my 50-50 lifeline and see if that helps.
Okay, Debbie, we're going to randomly remove 2 of the wrong answers, which will leave you with B, Sherlock Holmes, or D, Ernest Holmes.
Well, that's better for once. I'm pretty sure Sherlock Holmes is a fictional detective. Wasn't he the guy in the Da Vinci Code? Well, anyway, I'm gonna say D, Ernest Holmes, final answer.
And the correct answer is D, Ernest Holmes. And you are at $1,000. Would you like to stop now or continue?
Well, $1,000 isn't gonna fix my transmission, so I better continue.
All right, for $2,000. What musical key signature has 3 sharps? Is it A, D, B, A, C, B, or D, C?
Well, you're just trying to get me out, aren't you? Well, I happen to know my circle of fifths, Regis, so it's going to be a half step up from the last sharp, which is G sharp, making it the key of A.
So is A your final answer?
No, wait, B is A. So my final answer is B, A.
And the answer is B, A. And you are at the $2,000 level. Do you wish to continue?
Well, that'll take care of my transmission, but if that's all I get, I'm sure shooting something, I'll get a flat tire next week or something, so I better continue.
All right, on we go. For $3,000, America's financial epicenter, Wall Street, is named after what? A, the Wall Street Journal. B, James Haverford Wall, who conceived the short-lived $3 bill. C, a wooden wall built by Dutch colonists to defend New York against invaders. Or D, the U.S.-Mexico border wall.
Bummer, man. I've never had any money to play the stock market, so I've never really thought about it. But I think Wall Street Journal was named for Wall Street, not the other way around. And the border wall hasn't even been built yet. And I can't believe Dutch people built a wall in New York in the first place, so I guess it has to be as strange as a $3 bill. I'm gonna go with B, James, what's-his-face, Wall.
Is that your final answer?
I just know it's wrong, but I don't know what else could be right, so yes, it's my final answer.
Well, you are right that you are wrong. The correct answer is C, a wooden wall built by Dutch colonists to defend New York against invaders. Who would have thunk it?
See, I knew it. Things just don't ever work out for me. Now who's gonna pay for my transmission?
Well, it's time to get that transmission in gear and mosey on out of here, but thanks for playing, though. Our next contestant comes to us from the Sunshine State, from Fluffy Landing, Florida. Let's welcome Miss Rosie Outlook. Is that a real place, Rosie?
You're darn tootin', Regis. It's just northeast of Santa Rosa Beach. And you know what?
What?
I'm looking forward to my fluffy landing on that $1 million in cash.
Okay, well, let's get started then. For $500, based on the Latin word for tenth, this word means to give back a tenth of your income to where you are spiritually fed. Is it A, tithe, B, percentile, C, marginal tax rate, or D, gratuity?
Well, fortunately, they covered Latin phrases 3 weeks ago at my church, where I have regularly tithed, since I recognized how it positively affected my personal flow in my finances. So the correct answer is A, tithe. And heck yeah, that's my final answer.
Okay, Rosie, just for the record, I'm the person in charge here.
Well, Regis, I think that each one of us is in charge of our own destiny. And mine is a coming.
Okay. All right, the correct answer is A, tithe. You are at $500. I assume you want to continue?
Yes, sirree, Bob.
It's Regis. Why does everybody keep calling me Bob? Anyway, for $1,000, who famously said, "Whatever you can do or dream, you can begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Begin it now." Was it A, Johann Wolfgang von Goethe, B, Johann Sebastian Bach, C, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, or D, Wolfgang Johannes Puck?
Well, you know, I have been dreaming about being on this program for a couple of years now, and so I have this exact quote in the middle of my vision board.
What's a vision board?
Oh, you know, it's where you collect pictures and images and sayings about all the things that you want to manifest in your life. Like, it's got my red convertible and my $1 million and my dream trip to Egypt and my dream fella and, of course, a world that works for everyone.
Well, that's quite a vision you have there, Rosie. One could call it a rosy outlook.
That's my name. Don't wear it out.
So, back to the quote then.
Well, it's certainly not the pizza guy. And, you know, I think the other two are composers. So, Goethe is my second favorite philosopher right after Immanuel Kant. So, the answer here is A, Goethe. Final answer.
And the correct answer is A, Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. And you are at $1,000.
Let's keep it going, Regis. We are in the zone.
Well, we'll get back to your question shortly, but first a word from one of our sponsors. 40 years ago, colleges weren't meeting the needs of working adults, so Dr. John Sperling started a university that did. The University of Phoenix is the largest private university in North America, offering real-world online education. If you want to improve your earning potential, change careers, or just learn more about areas that interest you in life, our programs offer degrees and certifications in business, healthcare, technology, criminal justice, education, and more. Find educational assistance that fits your life. Your success starts here. I lost my place. Call the number or visit the website on your screen. Well, that's good for the people at home, but we want to get rich the quick and easy way, right, Rosie?
Well, you know, it's important to have an intention, but I find you have to move your feet in the direction of that intention. A lot of people think it's do, have, be. You know, you do things like go to the University of Phoenix, and then you'll eventually have a degree, and then you can be a teacher. I prefer be, do, have, where you declare yourself to be a teacher, and then you do the things that a teacher would do, like tutor kids after school, and then you find that you have the necessary skills.
Okay, well, that's certainly one way to look at it. But let's get back to our next question, all right?
Shoot.
Okay, for $2,000. Fort Knox, the U.S. Bullion Depository, is in which American state? Is it A, New York, B, Illinois, C, Kentucky, or D, British Columbia?
Come on, Regis. British Columbia isn't even a state. I happen to know that it's in Kentucky because we drove right past it on our vacation to Mammoth Caves last year. So I'm going to say C, Kentucky. Final answer.
And the correct answer is C, Kentucky. And you are at $2,000. Shall we proceed?
Oh, let's.
Okay, for $3,000, what Scottish economist espoused free market theory in The Wealth of Nations? Was it A, C. Aubrey Smith, B, Adam Smith, C, Emmett Smith, or D, Will Smith?
Well, you know, Will Smith is an actor, and I'm pretty sure Emmett Smith is a football player, if it's the one I'm thinking of. I don't recognize the other two names, so I'm going to use my 50-50 lifeline and hope that makes it better.
Okay, we're randomly removing 2 of the wrong answers, and you are left with A, Adam Smith, and D, Will Smith.
Well, thank goodness. Sometimes the way is made clear. I'm going to go with B, Adam Smith. Final answer.
And the correct answer is B, Adam Smith. And you are at $3,000. Good work, Rosie. Do you want to take the $3,000 and go home or continue playing?
Well, my mama didn't send me to school to eat my lunch, so yeah, I'm keeping going.
Okay, Rosie. For $5,000 and our first milestone, here is your question. According to standard Christian doctrine, which of these is not one of the 3 T's of tithing? Is it A, time, B, talents, C, testimony, or D, treasure?
Well, you know, like most people, I started out tithing just 1/10 of my income, which I assume you're calling D, treasure. But, well, the more I read up on it, the more I realized that I needed to share my other gifts. So that includes my A, time, and B, talent. Testimony has its place in sharing to other people, but it's not at all in the same class as those others, which are all about creating a community together. I'm going to go with C, testimony, as the one that doesn't belong.
Is that your final answer?
Yes, it is.
And the correct answer is C, testimony. You have reached the $5,000 milestone and are locked in. You'll be taking home at least that amount. There's no risk to you to continue, so let's move on to the $7,000 question. For $7,000, according to Investopedia, the risk-return trade-off principle means that higher risk yields what effect on return? Is it A, constant return, B, lower return, C, higher return, or D, no effect on return?
Well, Regis, everybody knows that higher risk leads to higher return, unless, there's always the possibility that it leads to higher losses as well. So you have to manage your short-term risk against your long-term risk. And never forget, this applies to life in general as well as to finance. You have to put yourself out there and take risks if you want to have a great life.
Okay, that's how it relates to life, but how does it relate to your answer?
I'm sorry, I thought I was clear. Higher risk yields C, higher returns. Final answer.
And the correct answer is C, higher return. You are at $7,000. Do you want to continue and try for $10,000?
Well, that's that risk-return thing, Regis. Since I'm locked in already at $5,000, I'm only risking $2,000 to try for $10,000. That sounds like a good bet to me.
Okay, for $10,000, here is your question. According to a poll by churchleaders.com, which of the following is not one of the top 10 reasons people give for not tithing to their place of worship? Is it A, I will tithe when I can afford it? B, tithing is not in the New Testament? C, I don't trust preachers? Or D, isn't that what my taxes are for?
Okay, so these 3 of these are the real reasons, and I'm looking for the one that isn't.
Yes, that's how it is phrased.
Okay. Well, I can relate to A because until I started tithing, I used to think that. But I can't relate to almost any of the others. I think I'm going to poll the studio audience for their opinions.
Okay, audience, it's time for you to help Rosie out. Just to clarify, we are not polling you for why you tithe or not. We are polling you for what you think is not one of the top reasons people give for not tithing. Clear enough? Okay, so raise your hand if you think the fake answer is A, I will tithe when I can afford it. Okay, you think the fake answer is B, tithing is not in the New Testament. You think the fake answer is C, I don't trust preachers. You think the fake answer is D, isn't that what my taxes are for?
Ooh, well, I didn't get that much help from the audience on figuring that one out. I already ruled out A. B just doesn't make sense because tithing has been around forever, including in Judaism and in the Old Testament. Now, C seems odd because if you didn't trust preachers, you probably just wouldn't go to church and the question of tithing probably wouldn't come up. So I'm going with D. I'm going to guess. Isn't that what my taxes are for? Final answer.
Okay, Rosie, for $10,000, the correct answer is D. Isn't that what my taxes are for? Well, congratulations. You are at the $10,000 mark. Do you want to continue on and try for $20,000?
You bet I do, Regis.
Okay, for $20,000, here is your question. According to Business Insider magazine, what is the most common way that people become millionaires? Is it A, investing in real estate? B, owning your own business? No help from the audience over here. B, owning your own business. C, investing in the stock market. Or D, televangelism.
Now, do I look like Tammy Faye to you?
And not at all, Rosie.
Now, sure, there's a few rich televangelists, but do you know there are more than 10 million millionaires in the United States? So I think they have to be doing something else. Stocks and real estate are both good ways to invest extra capital, but first you need to accumulate some capital. So owning a business is kind of like what we discussed on tithing. The more of your time, your talent, and your capital that you put into it, the better the chance of achieving real success.
You sound like you're speaking from experience there, Rosie.
Well, I used to do okay as a chef working for a catering company, but I really started to prosper when I branched out and opened my own catering business. Now, even though I haven't hit the $1 million mark yet, I am building wealth in my business, and more importantly, I am working every day at something I love to do. I'm going to go with answer B, owning your own business. Final answer.
And the correct answer is B, owning your own business. Congratulations, Rosie. Your answers have been riveting, and you have hit the $20,000 mark.
And you know, Regis, that's going to be enough for me. I'm going to stop and take the $20,000.
But you're doing so well, Rosie.
Well, yes, I am, and that's why it's enough. I'm going to give $2,000 in a tithe to my church, and I'm going to pay a few thousand in taxes, but that still leaves me with $10,000 to invest in upgrades for my business kitchen. And I still will have enough to take my best friend on that trip to Egypt that I've been dreaming of. You know, it's a charmed life.
But you don't want to go for the $1 million.
I already know I'm on my way to being a millionaire. This has been a great step along the way. But you know, it's about the journey, not the destination. The secret is in appreciating all the blessings you have, Regis, not in always wanting more.
Well, that's pretty deep, but I think I understand. So best of luck to you in all your endeavors.
Thank you, Regis, for everything. And blessings to you as well.
Well, that wraps up this week's show. Let's have a round of applause for this week's participants. Hans Smith as David Lloyd Post, Rick Gale as Harry Happenstance, Karen Allen as Debbie Downer, Kimberly Woldridge as Rosie Outlook, and I'm Wade Woldridge as Regis Philbin. Hi, I'm Wade,
And I'm Kimberly.
and we
And we approve this message.
Dr. Heather asked us to create some sort of skit or play to help illustrate the way your thinking influences your life, including your thinking about tithing and commitment.
Our characters, Harry Happenstance, Debbie Downer, and Rosie Outlook, while somewhat simplistic, they do represent aspects of each and every one of us. You get to choose which combination of positive outlook, victimhood, and passive bystander that you'll be. And you get to make that choice every single day.
Our center doesn't exist except in our ongoingly creating it every day. That means money and it means service, time, and talents. You also get to choose what kind of a congregant you are, how much you are a consumer of center services, and how much you take ownership and become a steward to help create and fund and sustain the center.
So however large or small your contribution, it's all necessary. Being a committed giver, that is filling out a pledge card, is important to the church to help us budget and plan. But it's also important for you, the pledger, because it puts into existence your intention.
As with giving your money and knowing that this creates an opening for the flow of more good in your life, so it is with tithing your time and talents.
When we create skits like this, or do the announcements, or participate in choir, we're present to the joy of creation and of service. As with all seva, it's a blessing to the giver as well as to the receiver.
Because this is the completion of our Courageous and Confident Connections program, we would like to request that you each step into the flow and fill out a pledge card if you haven't already.
Your
future,
future, and the center's future starts here.
When I asked Kimberly and Wade to write a skit, they said, sure, because that's what they do. Then they said, probably 5 minutes. And I said, no, I was thinking of something longer than that. You may or may not know that they're in a play right now, so it's not like they have a whole bunch of free time, but that's what they do. Come on, give them a We are so blessed by all of you, all of them, and just as they said, how much we depend on your pledges, but also your gifts of time and talent. We're really, really greatly blessed by all of that. It's now it's time for to share our gifts, our tithes, our offering. No, it isn't yet. We have something important to do. Allendale didn't just they didn't just create one song for today. Of course they have another one. So let's welcome back Allendale.
I think we need to get a little bit warmed up for the picnic, so if you feel like it, please stand and dance, or dance in your chair, or something. But this is called More and More, written by Rick Dale.
Wait, there's more.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Now it's time for us to share our gifts, our tithes, our offerings, but what I wanted to say, and this is really important, we always take some time just after we read our prosperity affirmation to feel grateful, because gratitude is a multiplier. This morning, I'm asking you to do that. We're going to read our affirmation. The stewards are going to come up. We're going to read our affirmation. You're going to keep your eyes open and your hands open because you're going to receive something. You're going to receive some money, a dollar coin. And that all of our currency, at least the original idea, was all the currency would say, "In God we trust." And when you receive this coin, let it represent that abundant flow of unexpected good, that which you have not planned for and still came to you. It is yours to do with however you want to use it. You can invest it, you can spend it, you can pay it forward, or you can just have it as a symbol of this great good that's forever flowing. So then, stewards would please come forward, and givers, would you please start the process? Okay, we'll say our affirmation together. My offering is my acceptance of God as the source of my supply and symbolizes my faith in the abundant flow of this supply.
Communing with Spirit, connecting with light, sharing community with love and light. Moving together, now and forever, living in the communing with Spirit, connecting with light, sharing community with love and light. Moving together, now and forever, living in the
In the twinkling of an eye, you can change the world, do
see the world around you, the miracles of life depend on the attitude within you. If you see the world is gray and the clouds are always dark, then you'll never see the brilliant glow of the light that's in your heart. Who knows what the day will bring if you just look up? Who knows what surprise awaits? Just stop and don't rush. In the twinkling of an eye, you can change the world around you. Hear the music from the street. It's a gift that can surround you. In the twinkling of an eye, take a moment to reflect. All of God's creation here for you. Lift your head, raise your eyes, look around, it's all here in the twinkling of God's
Thank you, Diane. Very beautiful. We're now going to acknowledge the people who made pledges last week. So Reverend Karen and maybe another person to help you. When I call your name, would you please come forward and receive your gift? Lynn Brown, Rita DeMore, Reverend Genevieve Harvey. And then just come up either right onto the platform or right in front here. Julie Penbrook, Kirsten Thomas. Yeah, you're supposed to stand up. Greg Young, Dina Van Slyke, I'm going to come down there so I can look at you. In The Little Prince, we read, "What is essential to the heart is invisible." It is so true, but what is essential to the heart? Caring, compassion, courage, connection, love, honor, and dignity come to mind. We are so grateful to each one of you for your generosity of spirit, your love, and your commitment. To symbolize our gratitude, we're giving you a beautiful container. These jars are a gift of art created by Charlotte Bachman, who made the mandala over the wall. And jars or containers are receptacles for some sort of something, some substance. These jars may look empty. Well, they may have looked empty, but they are not, because they're filled with love, with prayers of gratitude and prayers of love, creativity, wisdom, wholeness, energy, and life itself. We've prayed for all of the recipients, and that within the jar is open, and each one of you is open and receptive to even greater blessings. Thank you for your pledge. We know you made it consciously. It takes a lot of love and confidence to make this commitment. It often takes courage to keep these commitments. As a symbol of the commitment that you have made and of your connection to this center, please accept this gift. I'm asking you that you keep this gift in a sacred place to you, perhaps an altar or your prayer chair, so that you'll be reminded often of the gift of love that you have been given. Who you are makes a difference. Thank you for your pledges. You may be seated. For those of you, this is the last time we're doing this ceremony. For those of you who weren't here and did make the pledge, I have captured all of your jars. They're in my office, and all you need to do is ask me for them, and you'll receive them. And so, I'd like to acknowledge those of you who are visiting us for the first time today. If that's anyone here, please indicate that it's you by standing or raising your hand or letting us know. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So happy that you joined us today. Rather unusual day. You're being given here a bag full of goodies that has information about our center and a gift. And if you take the welcome card to the bookstore through the doors and around the corner, you'll receive another gift. It's a book. We're so happy that you joined us. We're going to affirm you. So it's a nice short affirmation. Please repeat after me, congregation. Welcome to our center.
Welcome to our center.
We know that you're prosperous, healthy human beings.
We know that you're prosperous, healthy human beings.
And you have spiritually blessed us by your being here today.
And you have spiritually blessed us by your being here today.
And so it is. You may be seated. And this is also, because it's the first of the month, the time that we acknowledge God's greatest ideas. So if you have a birthday in November, would you please stand so we can acknowledge you?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Happy birthday
What people received is the Science of Mind magazine and the Daily Guides. It's always a good idea to check out your birthday and see what wonderful message God has for you today. Speaking of messages, do we have some announcements?
Indeed. Today, immediately following the service, we're having our all-church picnic. We will be carpooling to the Talega Park, just up Pico, 1 mile inland from here. We'll enjoy great food, music, dancing, games, and prizes. More details are on the flyer on your chair. There's a map on the back, and Conscious Connection will resume next week.
And on Tuesdays at 6:30, Dr. Heather is teaching an accredited class called The Power of Your Word. And it runs for 8 weeks, and there's a sign-up sheet on the kiosk if you want to join. And please see Dr. Heather if you have any questions.
On Wednesday this week, Dr. Jeannie Hounshell will be here to lead a sacred healing service at 7 p.m. And since this is the first Wednesday of the month, there will be a potluck, beginning at 5:45, so come early and bring a dish to share as we break bread together.
And on Friday, November 9th at 6:30, there will be a meeting of our One Spirit, and that's their support group for the LGBTQ community. And for more information about that, please see Kathy Story or Tony Sparks.
On Wednesday, November 14th, Reverend Patty will host another parent forum from 11:30 to 1:30. Childcare is provided, and a light lunch will be available. See Reverend Patty for information.
And all you creative crafters, I know there's a lot of you out there. Our holiday boutique is coming up on December 2nd. The sign-up sheet is on the kiosk. And if you have any questions about that, come see me.
Today and every Sunday, we have practitioners available to serve you. They're available after the service in the back of the room and in the tranquility room for a quick 1-minute miracle. It's our gift to you on Sundays. Keep it short. Oh, there's always so much more going on here at the center. We can't talk about it. Please take your inserts home with you and look them over. And now, our children.